I've already made plenty of videos talking about the 49ers and losing the Super Bowl. But I just, I'm sitting here just pondering over everything that's happened. We can look to excuses of why things didn't go the way that they did. Whether it's the referees rigging the game or, the league wanting the Chiefs to win for the fact that they haven't won in 50 years. But when it really comes down to it, like I've said in previous videos, when you're up 10 points in the fourth quarter with a chance to close it out, you got to find a way to be able to get that done. You had opportunities to do it, and the fact of the matter is, when it came time, the Chiefs made more plays. Going into the game, I'm the most realist fan you could ever meet, but going into the game, in my heart of hearts, I did see the Chiefs in a way possibly pulling this one out. Like, their strengths and our weaknesses, kind of were like a perfect match. I didn't really ever take into account that, Jimmy would struggle in the later half of the fourth quarter, and Kyle Shanahan would, not have some of his best coaching in the same time. But when you look back on the season, it was a successful season up until the Super Bowl. I mean, nobody picked us to do anything this year, not more than maybe say like a 500 team. Some people on like NFL Network, I think his name is Adam Rank, had us winning 3 games. We shocked the world and got to the Super Bowl. Nobody saw that was going to happen. And all year, the narrative's been there. Whether it's Jimmy Garoppolo, people doubting him or saying he's the weak spot, or that we hadn't played anybody. And it's like every time they would do that, we would meet the next challenge and we would come up and we would answer another bell. But let's be honest, the narrative was there all year. The narrative of the negativity, the hating, the doubting, it was there all year. And I feel like in a way, it just kind of worked its way out, in a way that we lost the Super Bowl. And all these people that had all these narratives going against us got to be right about it, which is the aggravating part because, that game could have shut up a lot of people. You watch like ESPN and guys like Stephen A. Smith, whose his whole shtick, his whole MO is trash talking athletes, in professions that he's never touched. He's never been a professional athlete, but yet his word is gospel when it comes to who's a bum and who's great. And, they were already preordaining Patrick Mahomes to be the next great quarterback, the Michael Jordan of the NFL. Not that he's not talented. He is. I mean, the guy is amazing. But that narrative's been there the whole time. And it would have been nice to shut everybody up. But unfortunately, we did it. The haters got their last licks in after the Super Bowl. So we go into an off season now where, we have a lot of questions about who we're going to keep, what free agents we're going to re-sign, which ones we're going to let go. You have Jimmy Ward and Eric Armstead that come to mind first. There's not a ton of cap space, so the Niners are going to have to do their work. Parag Marathe is going to have to do his work and find a way to work the cap like he always does. There's guys like Emmanuel Sanders, who could be a casualty. Guys like Jerick McKinnon, Marquise Goodwin, who I don't see bringing back, or them bringing back. Too much of a cap hit for no production. And then you start looking at just roster-wise, we have guys like Kittle coming up and DeForest Buckner who are going to try to get new deals, extensions, and rightfully so. So, it's interesting time to try to keep this core together. Like I said before, these windows are not open very long, 5 years maybe. So you have to do what you can do to try to sustain it and keeping as many players as you can around. The Niners coaching staff is pretty much coming back next year intact. So that's another plus. But, unfortunately, when you lose a Super Bowl, everybody always says, we're going to make it back. The Rams said it, they're going to make it back. But the fact of the matter is not a lot of people do make it back. So in my mind, I want the Niners to be back. I think they can be back. They definitely have the talent. But, things happen. Injuries happen. This year we had a lot of things go our way. Look at the game in Seattle at the end of the season. That was a perfect example. I mean, it was that kind of year for us. Not saying that we got the breaks, that we didn't deserve them, but, sometimes things just roll your way. And so next year, I feel like we're going to have to be even better. You think about it, we got Trent Taylor and possibly Jalen Hurd coming back next year. We get DJ Jones back, Ronald Blair, DeMontre Moore, a lot of depth pieces that we didn't have this year, at least down the stretch. So that's a plus. But really what it comes down to is replicating what we did this year, but being just that much better. It's definitely going to be an interesting offseason. I'll be interesting to see if we have a Super Bowl hangover. George Kittle said that next year is a revenge tour. I freaking hope he's right. I want everybody to be angry next year. One of the things I noticed during Super Bowl week is how happy everybody was and how they were just happy to be there, and that's fine. They deserve to be there. But experiencing this loss and the taste it's going to leave in a lot of guys' mouth, I hope it fuels them to just no nonsense next year. Winning the Super Bowl should be the only thing that matters. To me, as a fan, that's really all that matters. I've been dwelling on this loss since it happened, and to be honest with you, anything less than a Super Bowl victory next year is not going to move the needle with me whatsoever. I'm not going to be impressed with them winning the division. I'm not going to be impressed with them being the number one seed or winning any of the playoff games. Unless they win the Super Bowl, that's all that matters. Yes, it's cool to be relevant. It's cool to be talked about in the media. But when it comes down to it, winning the Super Bowl is all that matters. Nobody remembers the loser. So, that being said, there's just a lot of things to think about going into next year. And, I'm in my heart of hearts, I see us being a good team. We could take a step back. We might, could be a wild card team next year, or we could win the division again. It's really hard to say. It's gonna be hard to see how guys react to adversity, like losing a Super Bowl. That's like the ultimate adversity you can have. So, like I said, I'm one of the most realistic Niners fans. Some fans don't like my approach. They think I'm a hater or a fake fan because, I put my honest feelings out there. I have a couple followers that listen to me on here that are the most, they are just so positive in their outlook for the 49ers, and I want to absorb some of that. They just have a different outlook on the 49ers, and they're always seeing the positive, and I'm trying to do that too, but, there's a part of me that is just so real and says what I really feel, and unfortunately it doesn't always jive with everybody else. But that being said, that's going to do it for me. This is kind of like my state of the 49ers video, state of the franchise type video. And who knows? Maybe maybe next year we'll be right back in the dance, and we'll actually seal a deal, and then it'll be a whole different story. But we're going to have to wait on that one. That's next year. All right, guys. I'll talk to everybody later. Everybody have a fantastic evening, morning, day, whenever you hear this. And that's going to do it for me. See ya.